Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and before we get into this, I want to tell everybody to thumbs this video up, and if you actually do want to see these videos live and join the conversation, make sure that you're checking all notifications so we can continue to try and grow this channel despite algorithms all over the place trying to suppress the information on it. And we're not only talking about YouTube, no, we're talking about Twitter and synthetic media. And when I hear bullshit and I smell bullshit in the form of a new term, a new synthetic media is the new fake news, right? I've got to call it out. So it should come as no surprise that after Twitter informed people of its new rules on synthetic media, and we're going to read the entire thing. We're fair here. Why go to news articles? Why not just go to the head of site integrity, Yoel Roth, and the group product manager, Ashita Akyathan themselves? And I want to point this out. So this dropped, obviously, a couple days ago. But notice that their quarterly revenue surpasses $1 billion for the first time, and all of a sudden, their shares are jumping 18%. You see, when you're a lackey for the system, when you openly say you're going to control information, when you shadow ban threads that expose people that are making big money for Disney, and we'll get into that in a later video, who also happen to be violent rapists, well, you're rewarded. And now they're going to build on those rules in public. So let's read it, and let's deconstruct the Johnny nonsense as we go. It's our responsibility to create rules on Twitter that are fair and set clear expectations for everyone on our service. No, that's a lie. You selectively enforce things. You always have, and you are continuing to let people know that you always will. Peaceful Warrior says, what's a dude got to do to be a mod? I don't mod. If I go through and I see things that are totally egregious, I just ban people. I mean, we don't mod here. I'm sorry, brother. I appreciate the thought. I do. That's why we announced our plan last fall, once again, seeking input from around the globe on how we will address synthetic and manipulated media. Because apparently now media is your oil change. Light Green Leaf says, I'm outraged. Today, we're sharing what we learned and how it shaped the update to the Twitter rules. How we'll treat this content when we identify it, as well as something new you'll see in Twitter as part of this change. What did we learn? Through a survey on our initial draft of this rule, as well as tweets that included the hashtag Twitter policy feedback, we gathered more than 6,500 responses. Now, let me just stop you. If you don't think they got way more responses than that, and they cherry-picked it, you would be extremely naive. Extremely naive, my friends. Sorry about that. So let's continue. We also consulted with a diverse global group of civil society and academic experts on our draft approach. I want to throw up. So people you'll never hear from, you'll never see. We consulted with them as well. We cherry-picked our info, and then we consulted with elitists in certain fields. That's lovely. Peaceful Warrior says, appreciate the feedback. All the best. Love you, brother. Thank you so much. Overall, people recognize the threat that misleading, altered media poses and want Twitter to do something about it. Here are some of the top line findings. So let's stop. You're right, I do. Can we please ban CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and the rest of the mainstream media for purporting a chemical weapons attack happened in Douma in 2018 by Assad? We need to ban these people because real people ended up fucking dying. These aren't sock accounts or trolling. In fact, our media still refuses to retract those statements and report on the OPCW leaks by WikiLeaks and the hearings going on at the United Nations. So Twitter, you want my policy feedback? There it is. I'm sure you really care. Twitter should give more information. Globally, more than 70% of people who use Twitter said taking no action on misleading, altered media would be unacceptable. Respondents were nearly unanimous in their support for Twitter providing additional information or context on tweets that have this type of media. Let's continue. The type of content should be labeled. Nearly 9 out of 10 individuals said placing warning labels next to significantly altered content would be acceptable. Excuse me? Excuse me. So how much do you have to label parody here? You see where they're saying altered? What is altered? Did I throw a filter on a video? Is it part of an edit? Did I play something at 1/4 speed? What would you like to know? That is about as many who said it would be acceptable to alert people before they tweet misleading, altered media. So let's say a guy like me goes ahead and plays slow motion of what I believe may be a fixed fight between Cowboy Cerrone and Conor McGregor, and when they bump gloves, I slow it down so you can see Cowboy wink at him, right? If I do that, did I alter it? Should that be censored? Can I give my opinion? I don't know. I don't know, Twitter. Peaceful Warrior says, if it was your mod, I'd have banned them, Jason. Yeah, exactly. I can't have, listen, again, there are trolls in there purposely, but that's the price you pay, guys. Again, if I go through something and something's crazy or racist or just out of control, they're gone. I get rid of them. But I can't obviously do it while I do it live. We do it live. So let's continue this misleading media. And I'm wondering if, again, let's go back to that attack in Duma. Would we say that the videos of the children that were supposedly victims of this gas attack, who we later learned just had water poured on them and were drugged into a hospital? Let me ask you something. Is that misleading media? Should those accounts be suspended? Should they have said, before we sent missiles into that country, this is all fake? Or would I be at fault? Would I be misleading media, pointing out that there was actually no evidence of that attack and playing, say, clips of Tulsi Gabbard asking James Mattis if it was in fact a chemical attack or any attack had occurred in Duma? Is that misleading? I don't know. Compared to placing warning labels, respondents were somewhat less supportive of removing or hiding tweets that contain misleading, altered media. You think? Geez, good. Wow, we won't just get rid of it. For example, 55% of those surveyed in the U.S. said it would be acceptable to remove all of such media. What? What? So now, I'd like to know if that's real. Is that 55% of your selected sample of 6,500 people, Twitter? Huh? Stocks are flying! Woo! Revenue's up! Revenue's up! Censorship! We love it! Flick off. Song recommendations for the day, Islamophobia by Genocide Rap. Powerful song. Thank you, my friend, for all the support, Flick off. I do appreciate it, but let's get back to the rules. Let's get back to the Twitter rules. This is just unreal. When asked to give their open-ended thoughts about the proposed rule, people who oppose removal of all altered media talked about the impact of free expression and censorship. No kidding. So are those fun there's a great new deep fake out there of the Rogan crew with WWF old school wrestlers, Joey Diaz as Andre the Giant. I'm having fun sending that around. Rogan is George the Animal Steel. Huh? Two bears, one cave, Kreischer and Segura as the Bushwhackers. It's pure gold. Is that not cut? That's pretty altered. Joey Diaz is not Andre the Giant. So let's continue on. If it is likely to cause harm, it should be removed. More than 90% of people
who shared feedback support Twitter removing this content when it's clear that it is intended to cause certain types of harm. What certain types of harm are we talking about? Because again, if we want to talk about harm and we want to talk about certain types, let's talk about real ones with real missiles and real warheads and real troops. Huh? You got no answer for that. How can you sit here with the moral high ground, Twitter? Disgusting, disturbing. Yuck. There should be enforcement action when sharing this content. More than 75% of people believe accounts that share misleading, altered media should face enforcement action. Enforcement actions could include people on Twitter having to delete their tweet or have their account suspended. So again, let's talk. So when we're talking about, fake information, right? Misleading, altered media. If someone plays the Rand Paul 11 minutes in impeachment where he has a big piece of poster board that says Erica Caramello Bar's name on it and Misko's name on it, and he names these people not as whistleblowers but people of interest who he'd like to call, is that somehow misleading? And when the mainstream media reports that no soldiers were harmed in that missile attack from Iran, and we later find out that a bunch of them were concussed and have real brain trauma, was that misleading information? Tell me. Explain it to me. Again, selective enforcement again and again. So let's continue with this. What's the new rule? You may not deceptively share synthetic or manipulated media that are likely to cause harm. In addition, we may label tweets containing synthetic or manipulated media to help people understand the media's authenticity and to provide additional context. So what are they exactly going to label, guys? And by the way, thumbs this up, subscribe, and share, please. I'm asking, what are they planning to label? So, like, for instance, when Acosta clearly chops at a reporter's arm and someone slows that down and then they say that there were frames added and all sorts of bull sense, did he chop the arm or not? He did. He absolutely did. All right, but manipulate. They slowed it down. Give me a break. This is it. Are the media synthetic or manipulated? In determining whether media has been significantly or deceptively altered or fabricated, some factors we consider include whether the content has been substantially edited in a manner that fundamentally alters its composition, sequence, timing, or framing. Pretty broad. Any visual or auditory information such as a new video frame or overdubbed audio or modified subtitles that has been added or removed. And whether media depicting a real person has been fabricated or simulated. I'm telling you guys, big time slippery slope. Again, fabricated. So again, when you have kids crying in a non-chemical attack because they had water, that's a fabricated event. But you're not going to do shit about that, Twitter. Give me a break. Okay? When the media tells you that Julian Assange is a cyber terrorist, that's a fabricated story. But you're not going to report on that. Are you? You're not going to stop that. Are the media shared in a deceptive manner? That's the media's whole game, is to share shit in a deceptive manner. That's the mainstream media game. We'll also consider whether the context in which the media are shared could result in confusion or misunderstanding, or suggest a deliberate intent to deceive people about the nature or origin of the content. For example, by falsely claiming that it depicts reality. The vast majority of what the mainstream media puts out is fucking fantasy. It's fantasy world. We also assess the context provided alongside media. For example, the text of the tweet accompanying or within the media, metadata associated with the media, information on the profile of the person sharing the media. And by the way, when we're talking about metadata, they're going to see where it originates from. So they're going to make sure, even if it's not a website, that they've already banned, that if like a picture from that website or originated there, they'll tag it, and that's how they'll know. Metadata is everywhere. Information on the profile of the person sharing the media. Oh, information on the profile. Really? Really? I wonder if they're going to go after all those anonymous sock puppet accounts that defend Conor McGregor, the violent rapist. No. When they're posting that there's no evidence, right? And they're anonymous. Will you put information on those profiles? Fuck no, they won't. Fuck no, they won't. Websites linked to the profile of the person sharing the media or in the tweet sharing the media. So someone writes a rag piece about me, saying like on Wikipedia back in the day, and they'll just go to the Wikipedia page and start trashing me. And every little mistake I've made, they'll blow up. And they'll make claims about me that aren't real. Now, they're not going to link to anything real, okay? In the content likely to impact public safety or cause serious harm. Again, when we're talking about public safety and we're talking about serious harm, confirmed false flag events in Syria are about as serious as it gets, Twitter. About as serious as it gets. Thumbs this video up, subscribe if you're new. Tweets that share synthetic and manipulated media are subject to removal under the policy. So they are going to remove if they are likely to cause harm. Some specific harms we consider include threats to the physical safety of a person or group. So like a nation. So like Syria's a nation. It's a lot of people. Huh? Risk of mass violence or widespread civil unrest. I mean, come on. Threats to the privacy or ability of a person or group to freely express themselves or participate in civic events such as stalking or unwanted and obsessive attention, targeted content that includes tropes, epithets, or materials that aim to silence someone, voter suppression or intimidation. That's so broad. It could be anything right there. That right there is the blank check to censor anything they want. Okay? Threats to the privacy or ability of a person, come on, to express themselves freely. I'm sorry, Cupcake. I'm sorry if you're a little offended. Is Cupcake a trope? What if I'm calling a man or a woman Cupcake? They could both be cupcakes. I mean, my God. What will this look like on Twitter? It'll look a lot like fascism. A lot like Twitter going even further than it has. That's what it's going to look like. If we believe that media shared in a tweet have been significantly and deceptively altered or fabricated, we will provide additional context on the tweet. This means we may apply a label. Show a warning to people before they retweet or like the tweet. Oh my goodness. Oh boy, reduce the visibility of the tweet. That's the real thing, is the shadow banning, just like they do on this platform. That's why I need you to share this stuff. Reduce the visibility of the tweet on Twitter and or prevent it from being recommended and or but that's the thing. 90% of this is just going to be shadow banning and censorship. Period. Provide additional explanations or clarifications as available, such as a landing page with more context. And that's fine. Keep going. You're going to cut your own throat. You're a web platform and app. You're not that important. You're not. You don't even really have your own video format. You have Periscope. Periscope's nice. I'm using it now, but like you're being beat by YouTube, another platform that when it clamps down too much, guess what? You're losing. That's why I have a Rockfin. And by the way, guys, at least 5 premium videos a week here, $9.99 a month, but you don't just get Jason Bermas's content. You get a ton more. And guess what? I can play things like Rand Paul going off and saying Erica Caramello Barr's name. I can play actual impeachment footage. In fact, what we're going to do there, I think Friday night, is we're going to live stream the debates. And I'm going to comment there because I can't get away with that on this platform. So rockfin.com/Jason Bermas, $9.99 a month. You get all their premium content. But make sure you endorse me, and that way we continue to grow over there. Or you can just go sign up for Rockfin and become a follower and see the non-premium content. But let's close it out, guys. Our teams will start labeling tweets with this type of media on March 5th, 2020. So we're about a month away. This will be a challenge, and we will make errors along the way. You've already made so many. They're already telling, they're prepping you for get ready, because those stocks, they may go up now, baby. But as soon as people realize we need to find another platform because you guys are disgusting censors, it's over. It's over. Corporate shills for violent rapists like McGregor. And I'll say it again. I'll say it again, Twitter. We appreciate the patience. However, we're committed to doing this right, updating our rules in public and with democratic participation. You just said you cherry-picked everything and talked to elitists in fields. I mean, I get it. You don't expect anybody to actually read through this, and those that do probably don't have much more than a 5th grade reading level because they scan through they don't even read it. You know, and the journalists are all on board because they want censorship. They don't want competition like me telling you the truth. We're working to serve the public conversation and doing our work openly and with the people who use our service. I'm a little disgusted. I want to throw up my mouth a little. So guys, again, rockfin.com/Jason Bermas. No Patreon, no subscribe star. We do the GoFundMe too. And I'm hoping that we can get this to the actual $5,000 goal. I'll tell you what, if we get it above $2,000 before Monday, I will go down, not for the debates because the debates are Friday, but I'll go down to New Hampshire the day of the vote on the primaries, which I believe is the 11th. Okay, so if we get to 2,000 before then, I'm going to go down there. I will rent a car, and I'm going to go cover it live and probably do live streams from New Hampshire and see what we can get. So if you want to support me financially, that's where to do that. But again, we got to get to 2K before Monday in order to do that. Otherwise, I can't afford it. So yeah, Rockfin, all my movies, guys. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, New World Order Defined, Shade the Motion Picture, free right here. Shade free on Rockfin in 720p. So go check that out as well. And then I do it 3 to 7 times a day, free here. And we're going to be coming back with an Epstein update and a bunch more today. So I just want to say I love you guys, and I will see you on the flip side.